Doodle-doodle-doodle. Whoop, whoop. There it is. There it is. Let's get into it. Good morning, guys. Good Saturday morning to the night shift folks out there. I do apologize. I couldn't make it out last night to get a night shift episode up, but I will be getting back to that. I might have to make it where I take like a break on like a Friday or Saturday or maybe the weekend and then get back to the 2 episodes. But throughout the weekend, it'll be at least 1 episode. We try to upload daily unless something happens equipment wise that can't be fixed right away or, but sorry about that. Good morning to everyone. Let's get right into it. I'm going to be showing you a little something about Gary. Gary from Paramount Tactical said he was going to sue Candace because of the coordinated attack her and another journalist put together to release Mitch Snow's secret conversation that he had with Gary. I think the case just fell through. We have a clip that makes the case, it's done. It's done. And you know whose hands it's done by? It was all unraveled by Gary himself. Surprise, surprise. Very interesting clip. Then I'm going to show you a little angle that I haven't seen before. And I don't know if you have either, but I think it's important that we actually see this. It is a exchange between Mikey McCoy and Dan Flood. Now, I never saw this. We were all watching Dan Flood. We were watching Brian Harpole. We were watching them do things in sequence. We were watching Dan do the arm thing. We were watching Brian Harpole. We were watching Rick Culler with the shirt, the brown shirt, where he did a little thing there. We were watching the handoffs, but I've never seen this connection that they seem to have had. I'm going to be showing you guys that. And then we're just going to touch on what I've been focusing on, which is, the Truman Show aspect of Charlie Kirk. We're going to do some more connecting there. But then also, there's so much information to it, but we're going to be focusing on the whole Be My David thing because I couldn't figure out what that was. A lot of you reached out to me to give me a clarity on that whole thing. Thank you guys so much for that. We're going to get into what I think that was, do a little breakdown of what that actually means. And then we're just going to talk about, and maybe we could talk about a little bit here now. There's so much going on when it comes to what Candace broke down. That episode to some people seemed disjointed. People were like, what's going on? We're in Korea. We're over here. AmFest sucks. This, that, like we were just all over the place, right? But as you look into, and as I look into Liberty University, the Falkirk institution or center that Candace said fell through, I don't know if it actually did. There's just so much to it. And then when we get to the whole Mortal Kombat Ultra, when we get to that whole thing, there is so much more to that than I thought. And I'm going to be bringing that to you guys all next week. I'm just going to be, I think what's going to happen is my morning episodes are going to be about that. And then the night episodes will be breaking down what Candace discusses. And we're just going to go like that because there's so much to it, man. First off, my theory about that, I think there's something to that. So I have to show you guys that. And then when it comes to Candace and what she had to say about Liberty University and everything, oh man, there's so much to that. But anyways, let's jump right in. Gary just blowing the doors off of his own case.
Candace says she will play Gary's interview with Mitch that he recorded. Did he ask permission? Look, I knew that Mitch was recording me. She can play whatever she wants. I don't care. She has my permission. Play it away. I know what I said to him, and I knew he was recording me. As soon as I got him on the phone, told him who I was, I got nothing to hide. She can play it away. So she can do what she wanted. Couldn't care less. I imagine she recorded because he would gaslight her and twist the story just to see what he was doing. Thank God she did.
That's hilarious. So the case is done. There's no suing of anybody. He can't sue Stu. He can't sue Candace. He can't sue Mitch. He literally just wiped all that away. And this was before, just so you know, And this is so wild to me that Gary's like this. This was before Gary started talking about suing. It's not like he just released that and he's like, whatever. No. This is when Candace did her live on X where she was talking about it and she just gave reference to like, hey, there's a recording. We might drop that next week. That was it. And that's what Gary was addressing. So he already knew that he said this. And then when it actually got released, he still in his mind was like, I'm going to sue people. It's like he forgot. He related to Erica Kirk. Hey, Gary, are you related to Erica Kirk? That's weird. How long have you guys been related? Just forever, I assume. Or is it a new thing? Is that why you're talking to Andrew? I'm kidding. He's not related to Erica. They just have the same lapses of memory, I guess. Just amazing. Gary's, he said he sent in the paperwork for the lawsuit. His lawyers must be so pissed. So pissed. Okay, Gary, so last thing. Okay, we have all the paperwork. We've been working on this. Okay, this is going to be great. And if we can attach Candace to this, if we can attach her, we're going to be able to, settle in court. I mean, this is going to be great. Okay? So the last thing, you didn't give anybody permission, right? Like I know we already talked about that, but you didn't get anybody permission. I actually did. I said that I don't care and that I knew I was being recorded and that she could play it and that I don't care about Mitch recording it either. That's all I said. Is that okay? His lawyers are just like, it's every 3 weeks with this guy. It's every 3 weeks with this guy. Gary, get out of my office. What are you talking about? I thought, hold on. I thought we were going for steak dinners. What changed? I don't understand. I thought we were gonna win this case and we we're gonna go out for steak dinners. You guys don't want that? Let me call my friend. I have a friend named Valhalla. My friend Valhalla, he hasn't been answering my calls recently. I don't know. He's mad at me or something. But I'm going to call him. We're going to go to where he's at. I got this Egyptian plane, Turning Point. Turning Point gave me this Egyptian plane. We're going to hop on there. We're going to get steaks. We're going to surprise him. Come on. Come on, everybody. Get out. Get out of my office. That's what happens, obviously. Just ridiculous. So Candace is not getting sued because that's over with. Gary, okay. Maybe we can work this out. Did you say it in front of anybody? I said it live on YouTube in front of 10,000 people. Is that a problem? Yeah, I think it's a problem, Gary. What happened? I thought we were suing somebody here. Oh, I'm sorry. You guys want to get steaks? I always say that about Gary. Gary seems like he eats steak. He's a big dude, man. Big dude like that, you need a couple of steaks in you per day at least, Anyway, let's jump over to this weird angle that we got going on here. I've never seen this before. Absolutely atrocious music. You guys know how I am with the music, right? Let me hear it. Absolutely not. Mute that music. I will narrate this for you guys. I don't know what possesses people. We got Charlie coming in. I gotta take my grievances some other time. We got Mikey McCoy, as you can see. Somebody's filming this whole thing, right? Dan Flood, Mikey McCoy, seconds before what happens. I never saw this before, right? Check that out. They're looking at each other. He gives them a nod. Looks at Dan Flood. Dan Flood gives a nod. Then he picks up his phone, snaps a picture, or he's talking to somebody. But it looks like like you go like this. It seems like you're snapping a picture. Puts it back in his hand. A lot of people have said like, oh, this guy was on the phone with somebody. Maybe. But then he does that signal, and then the shot goes off. Just like that. They literally look at each other. There's a nod. There's something that looks like a signal, right? Can't say for sure. But I've never seen this glance that they exchange. I've never seen that before. Wild. So they exchange that glance. He looks at him again. He does the signal. Bang. How crazy is that? I had no idea that happened. Again, everybody's always looking at Dan Flood, They're looking at Frank Turek. They're looking at Rick Culler. They're looking at all these other people. No one's looking. And of course, this person's showing us that Mikey McCoy is walking away majestically as only Mikey McCoy can. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I know I'm showing you this, but we have all the love in the world for Mikey McCoy here, okay? He's the one man who showed us self-masteries. And as I've said before, and some of you laughed, and I don't know why, he walked away for our sins. That is the pure and majestic Mikey McCoy. Okay? That's not a joke, guys. He walked. He walked so you could run. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that glance that they exchange is something else. I mean, here, I'm just going to run it one more time. Please don't play the music. Music's absolutely terrible. Let me zoom in on this really quick. Just a little zoom here. Get a little closer. Not really much. But yeah, they exchange that glance. And he even nods. Here, let me go back on that. You see Mikey nods. And then Dan nods back. Let me just do that one more time. Mikey's looking at him to get his attention. He's looking right at him. Then they connect. Mikey nods. Then Dan nods. Wow. Very, very interesting, man. I've never seen that. This lady, Selena Ann, she shared it. Never seen her before. I'll give that a follow. Might as well. But yeah, that and then that signal happens and boom, that shot goes off. Wild. Unbelievable. So what does that mean? I have no idea, but I've never seen it before. So I figured I would show it to you guys because it's not nothing, right? It's one of the many things within that little time period, within that little 5-minute window of before and after Charlie is down. It's just another thing that's weird. That glance, that look, and then as soon as he gets the look, you know, I can't say what it is, you know, but kind of like a look of confirmation. Maybe you figure it out. I don't know. But then he just goes bang. And literally before he can even get his arm back to like natural position, the shot goes off. I mean, I get it. People are like, there's no signals, nothing. I get it. I 100% get it. He was just scratching his arm. Frank was just touching his cap. Mikey was just looking. That's what they'll say now. Mikey was just looking over. He was just plugging his ears. Oh, man, he ran over there to take a video because he just, I don't know, he just felt like it. Come on, man, stop being bad people. Everybody grieves. I know that's how we're supposed to look at all this, but it just seems so odd. So odd. So, yeah. Anyway, just wanted to show you guys that. And let's jump into, just real quick, I have the Truman Show thing here. There's some comparisons that I had to make when it came to the Truman Show and Charlie Kirk. Now, you have to understand, Charlie Kirk, Truman Show, the first thing that happens with Truman when he wakes up is that a light falls from the sky. I don't know if you remember this. It's like, you know, they have lights hanging. It's a movie set, right? So a light falls from the sky. Bang. And he finds the light and he looks at it. He sees the light. He literally sees the light. And then from there, he starts testing his reality, just like Charlie did. Something happened with Charlie, right? And I think it happened in October. Okay? You picking up what I'm putting down? Talking about Philadelphia? Happened in October? You understand what I'm saying? It happened in October. And that made it so he started questioning things. He was the first one to question it. He was like, was there a stand down? Everybody was like, what the why is he saying that? Everybody's like not saying that, right? For the most part. And then the one guy who you think is not going to say that ends up saying that. And so he starts questioning it. He's like, I've been there. It's 45 minutes. I go in the whole thing. It's 45 minutes by helicopter. How did this happen? 6 hours, no reply. It's like, whoa, this guy's saying that. So he starts questioning things after he sees the light. And then he starts testing his reality. If you remember in the Truman Show, he begins testing his reality. He begins looking at people and doing things. And, you know, he goes into that place, that building. And they're like, what are you doing here? And he tries to go into the elevator, and then security walks up to him and it opens. He sees people. They're at the craft service table. That's just where you eat food. That's what they call it in Hollywood. And they're eating. And all of a sudden he's like, what's going on here? He's like, who are those people? And this and that. And then he takes his briefcase, and there's a guy on a ladder, and he smacks him on the butt and runs off to see what would happen. And nothing's happening. And he's starting to realize, like, what's going on here? What's happening? Right? And Charlie started doing that same thing. The testing of his reality was seen from July 1st all the way to September 9th. He was testing his reality the whole time. He was seeing what's real, what's fake, and I want to understand what's going on here, because all of this seems to be some kind of smoke and mirrors. Because, and when I say July, you know what I mean? I mean Amfest. He brings Tucker up. So he's poking reality. Then all of a sudden a donor runs up to him. This is according to Tucker, not me. A donor runs up to him. You can't do this. How dare you do this? What are you doing? He's like, oh, okay. This is what happens when I do this. Oh, okay. Then he has Dave Smith, Josh Hammer. They go back and forth. Then all of a sudden he gets more things start happening. He's like, what's going on here? You know the whole timeline. Then he has an interview, I think, with Megyn Kelly in August. He starts saying to Megyn Kelly. Now, all of a sudden, he's realizing what's going on. And this moves me on to my next thing. He starts realizing all his friends are fake. That's the next thing he realizes. His friends are fake. The people who were his friends are all of a sudden now messaging him, questioning his moral character, because he decides to have Tucker on at Amfest, and Tucker decides to say some things that go against the grain, go against the narrative. Dave Smith does the same thing, and he dominates Josh Hammer. That's not allowed either. So now he's like, what's happening? I'm being questioned? All I did was have people here, and they just spoke. I thought freedom is, I thought everybody could say what they want to say. I thought that's what our side of the movement was about. And he's starting to realize that's not true. And the people who considered him friends and would have his arm around him and talk to him and this and that, now all of a sudden they're saying that they're questioning him. He's saying that he's getting text messages. He's not saying that people are tweeting at him. This is not bots and faceless accounts. He's saying he's getting text messages. People who know him well enough to have his number are messaging him, questioning his moral character. Then he has a town hall as well. This might have been before Megyn Kelly, but then he has a town hall as well where he's questioning Philadelphia. He's allowing people to question Philadelphia. He's allowing people to just question it, talk about it. He's sitting right next to Andrew Colvett. There's a bunch of young people, and they're all just talking about it. And he starts talking about how, well, if he questions certain things, then people start questioning, whether he's anti-Philadelphia or not. And then the young people are saying, well, that's ridiculous. And, they're questioning it as well. He's testing his reality. What am I allowed to do in this thing? In this box that seems to be set up around me, what am I allowed to do? And his friends are fake. Also, he realizes he's truly a product. And that's what you're seeing in that Megyn Kelly interview. It's him realizing, my moral character is getting questioned. People are asking me if I'm on their side. And he's saying, what side? He's like, what are you talking? I'm an American citizen. That's what he says on the podcast. He goes, what is this? What's happening? He doesn't understand. Then he sits down with Ben Shapiro. He says some stuff there. Again, testing his reality. What can I say? I'm going to say what I want to say. He starts questioning things. He starts talking about the media. He starts saying a bunch of stuff. And Ben is not laughing with him at all. Not giggling. It doesn't seem like a joke to Ben. He's raising his eyebrows at him. He's testing his reality. And then behind the scenes, this is all what was front facing. Behind the scenes, there's the group message. He's saying, I'm going to leave this cause. I can't do this. I won't be bullied. Right? It's exactly like the Truman Show. And that's exactly what happens with Truman. The whole time, Truman's trying to figure out, okay, What am I allowed to do? I try to go into this elevator. These guys tell me I'm not allowed to go for some reason. They throw me out for some reason. I have a fight with my wife, and for some odd reason, my friend comes through the door with a 6-pack. You know, my wife is all of a sudden doing these weird commercials every single time I try to talk to her. He can tell that she doesn't like him that much, but for some reason, it seems like she can't leave him, like she's been planted there. It's very similar to what Charlie had going on. Perhaps, maybe. I don't know. It's very interesting, man. All his friends are fake. And in order to accomplish this, you know, Truman was born into it. He was born into it. Charlie might have been born into it as well. We really don't know. We don't know anything about his parents. We don't know how long this was going on. He talks about having these dreams from when he was very young. Candace talks about this X-Men school. So we don't know when this actually started. If it was in elementary, if it was when he was a kid. But Truman was born into it. Charlie had a situation where he had to be separated from Candace, because that's exactly what happened. They were slowly split apart. They were kept in the same type of boxes because Candace was in her own box. And they were trying to do Project Candace as well. They were really trying to make that work. That's why it was PragerU. That's why it was Daily Wire. They were trying to make that work. She was in her own Truman Show that was starting to form. Luckily, she was friends with Mr. West. So Mr. West's influence wouldn't allow her to just, and probably her own, just the way she is. You're not going to tell her what to do that much before all of a sudden she's coming at you. So it didn't work that well with her. It didn't go as far with her, but it went far for Charlie. And again, Truman born into it. Charlie had to be separated from Candace. And then he was able to be put into this whole Truman Show experiment of sorts. But I say that because Candace was almost like a part of his cast. He randomly bumped into her. There was no Tyler being like, here's Mikey, here's this person, Erica, I've known Erica for years, now you're dating her. There was none of that with Candace. They just bumped into each other. And he was like, you're the one. It wasn't even, you couldn't even ration that Candace was like one of them. Because Candace was like, okay, like you're really like intrigued by me for some reason. And he wants her everywhere that he goes. Right? That was Charlie's doing. She was like, okay, let's do it. I don't know, man. And then at the end of it, the only in accepting his fate is when he was free. Okay? So only when he accepted his fate did he become free, just like Jim Carrey in The Truman Show. Right? He pretty much accepted it. He accepted this is fake. I don't understand what's going on with my wife. None of this makes sense. Even my friend, my best friend, none of it. And that guy in The Truman Show that comes with the 6-pack and he's always around him, that's like Andrew Colvett. That's what that is. He's like a handler. He's making sure he doesn't get off the rails too much, right? And then finally he accepts, hey, none of this is real. I don't know what to do. I'm getting on this boat and I'm going. And then finally, you know, in The Truman Show, he bumps into the wall. He walks up the stairs. He leaves. He bows. And Charlie kind of did the same thing. Right? He walked into that place with no body armor, although people think he had body armor. He walked into that whole thing fully knowing, you know, always knowing that something's going to happen eventually. No body armor, thousands of people, roofs everywhere. And he just accepts. And he says, it's all fake. They're coming down on me. If they're going to get me, they're going to get me. He's telling people around him, but he's telling a bunch of fake people. He's telling a bunch of actors, I think they're going to get me. And they go, oh, come on, man. He's telling people and they're just like, come on, Charlie. He's telling a bunch of fake people. Imagine if he sent that message to Candace, what would have happened? She would have done like a whole series. My friend just said, you guys might think I'm crazy, but my friend Charlie just told me that he fears for his life. Now, who's the one that's doing this? Would have been a whole breakdown. Would have been crazy. Maybe it would have saved him. But only when he accepted his fate was he free. And that fate for him was death. And then he was truly free. Nobody can bully him now. Nobody can suppress him now. No one can tell him how he's going to speak about things. Like nothing. So That's just my comparison there. You're having a lovely morning. And then we get into the David stuff, my David. Let's just let me shrink this down a little bit. Now, what this actually means, I just want to get into this because I was very perplexed by this ever since Candace showed that text message where she said, where Charlie actually said that this man, the spiritual guidance, this guider of Charlie's, says that he thinks that she is the chosen one. I found that very, very weird. And I want to know what that David thing means, but let's just flashback really quick.
Because Charlie sensed that something big was about to happen. And I think that is what the something big was. I also want to say, obviously, I am not making up these messages. Okay. Turning point. Actually, Mikey McCoy has access to all of Charlie Kirk's messages. They can tell you that these ones are real. Here is what he wrote. We were again talking about Kanye. Charlie wrote to me, "You're going to be the Iron Lady of America." He had such a political vision for me. I never wanted that sort of a thing. I see it so freaking clearly. I might be Moses, though. I might not see this whole thing through. LMAO. If that is the case, be my David. I said, dude, you haven't even realized your power yet. He's like, you're so young, was what I was thinking. He said, if I tell you the true prophecy that I know in my gut, it's really sad, but I hope it's wrong. He went on to say, anyway, I am not sure if I will live to see the end of this revolution. I believe you were the piece that God meant me to meet that will finish the fight. Since the beginning of TPUSA, I knew in my gut that I might get wiped out at any time. I cannot explain it, but I dream about it all the time, like all the time. Anyway, that's depressing combo for another time, LMAO. I said, that's weird, more of a fear manifestation than an actualization. He said, I'm not really afraid of it, but I'm just telling you what I know to be true. And he told me that. I don't know why. Charlie knew he was going to die young. And I don't know. I just felt like I needed to share that because it is in part why the moment that Charlie got shot, I just knew he was betrayed spiritually. In the same way that Charlie knew that he was going to die young, I knew that this was a part of something bigger. And so I wanted to say to you guys, to the people that betrayed Charlie, I would recommend that you come clean, okay? I would recommend that you come clean because Charlie said some other things. And I look at these things now and I think, wow, it's almost prophetic, right? It's almost prophecy. And I can tell you that this is a story that will have a happy ending, a tragedy that will have a happy ending. The world is going to learn the truth about this. They are. I would recommend that you come clean. There are lines in the sand that are being drawn right now between good and evil. Many of you have picked the evil side. To you, podcasters, people that make videos, people that are taking money, tell people don't look over there. I would recommend you stop doing that. You don't have to listen to me. You probably won't listen to me. And to people that betrayed Charlie, you probably won't come clean. Likely because you're scared now.
Man, could you imagine you did it? You're the one who's behind the scenes and then you see this. I recommend you come clean. You'd be like, oh my God, what's happening? I thought we were good. We did the pyrotechnics. I don't understand what's happening right now. And we can't get to her? Oh, this is crazy. What are you guys talking about? This is like her 20th episode. What's going on here, guys? I'd be pissed. I'd be like, hey, you told me if I did the hand signal and I did what I was supposed to do. You told me if I just filled my pockets with mints, did my hand signal, my buddy taps his hat, other guy grab. You said we'd be cool. Now she's telling us to come clean. What's going on here? Be scared to death. Straight up. But what's the meaning of all of this? Now, a lot of you, somebody gave me this. Okay, I found this to be so intriguing because I didn't know about this, right? They said 1 Samuel 18, verse 1 through 4, where their souls become knit and they make a covenant. And Samuel 1:20, verse 42, where they affirm their oath of friendship before the Lord, showing their deep covenantal love and loyalty. And obviously, this person is talking about David and Jonathan, right? That would make a lot of sense. If you hear the story of David and Jonathan, you will think Charlie and Candace for sure. Okay, it's a very deep friendship, but Charlie does mention Moses, right? And then somebody actually gave me this, and I was like, "Oh, this person hit it on the head." This comment, they hit it on the head. That's what this is. He said Moses brought the people out of slavery, because I didn't know this. I'm really young in my faith. I didn't know all this. He brought the people out of slavery in pursuit of the promised land. King David united the tribes and was the greatest king in the promised land. In other words, finish the mission, go Max. And I think that makes the most sense. I even messaged my buddy who knows like everything about the Bible. He's like a cool Ned Flanders. And he really is. Shout out to Joel. I love you, man. But he was telling me, he's like David, because he knows about Candace, he gets into this whole thing. So he's like, if we're talking about David, he's like, it's definitely, we broke it down. He's like, okay, that would be Moses. And Candace is definitely like David. He said David had a zealous for truth, for God. He was fiery. He was passionate. He had a zealous for the house of God. He was pure. He was militant. He was rough around the edges. And I was like, okay, so that makes perfect sense. So that's what that is. It's not. And then also, like many of you said, David slays Goliath, the giant that nobody can seem to take on is being taken on by David, by Candace. I think we all know what that giant is, right? Philadelphia. Somebody on X was like, "Hey man, I'm from Philadelphia. You got to take this. You got to take it somewhere else, man." Like, you got to move whatever you talk. You got to move it to another place, man. No, man. I can't now. People email me. When they email me, they say Philadelphia. They don't. We're emailing just between us. They're still saying Philadelphia. I'm sorry. It's in stone now. I apologize to Philadelphia out there. I really do apologize, but that's what we have to run with, guys. But yeah, that's what's going on there. Candace is gonna slay this giant, this very big giant. And here's the thing: as I wrap the episode, man, oh man. The information, and shout out to the two people doing research for me behind the scenes. The information that I got when it came to Mortal Kombat Ultra, when it comes to Ultra, is wild. How deep it goes. And it's actually not that. It's a program that's adjacent to that. Okay? And we're going to discuss that program, because that program actually links into everything Candace brought up, everything that we've been seeing in regards to Turning Point faith, more specifically. It really correlates because it has to do with ritual. It has to do with a more spiritual context. It's not just a very scientific, like, mental thing. That's not what it is. It goes way deeper than that. And when I figured out, or when I was brought this information, it shows why what's happening in Hollywood is happening and how. It shows what's happening in politics, why it's happening and how. It's showing what's happening, again, Turning Point Faith, Calvary Church, Liberty University. I mean, it all makes perfect sense once you understand this program, because the catch-all for this type of thing, you know, this Mortal Kombat Ultra, that's a catch-all. When you see this type of thing, when you see someone with memory lapses, when you see somebody it seems like they've been put in this position, and, you know, we use that as a catch-all, but there's actually many programs adjacent and after it, because it officially ended, I believe, in 1973, but then something else kept going. So when we talk about that, and on top of that, it touches on the occult, it touches on ritual, it touches on all this stuff. but it's not just the occult. It's an actual program that they've been doing for a long time. And I think there's something there in regards to Charlie, in regards to Erica, in regards to many people that we're seeing. I think it's a big part of it. And then also we're going to be touching on Liberty University. I mean, the information that I got there, I can just look at it right now. Everything's very dense, so it's hard to connect it all. But this person helped me figure out something that Candace talked about called the Falkirk Center, how that fell away because the person who was going to make it, one of the co-founders, got on some really terrible charges. Apparently it didn't fall away. And I'll break that down for you. It's under a different name. All the same people who were aligned with that and aligned with Liberty University are now aligned with this other thing that it seems to be under a different name of. They're all a part of it. I mean, McCoy, Bryson Hollyland, whatever that guy's name is. A bunch of people that you'd see at Turning Point Faith. Korea, it links to Korea as well. Rob McCoy. There's just so much to it. Michael Knowles is even like with it, or at least promoting it, or at least working with them at some point. I'm just looking at a picture. DT Jr. He was speaking for them, something called Build Up Korea. Cabot Phillips, 2023. He was around this by Liberty University, the same organization. So, which was supposed to be the Falkirk Center until the founder, Jerry Farwell, was done for a very bad charge. There's so much to it. It makes so much sense why Candace was talking about this. I know for some reason it seemed very hard to make sense of it. And even when I do my episode, it might be even hard to just take in what I'm talking about. But there's something very real to it. I think it makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to be doing that for Sunday tomorrow. I'm just going to touch on it. I'm going to read through the information before I actually compile it into something. It's very hard. There's a lot of information, just tons of information. But that's what I'm going to be talking about all next week. Like I told you, we're going to be talking about that quite a bit. There's a lot of information, and I want to figure things out. So hopefully it helps with what Candace is doing. Hopefully it helps you all as you listen to Candace. You start hearing some of what I'm saying, hearing some of what Baron's saying, and vice versa. Maybe he'll hear what I'm saying, Ian, and hopefully it's not a dead end, but I don't think it is at all, not at all. Man. Oh, and then comments. Let's get into comments. I was going to end it off, but let's jump into the comments. Top comments on the last episode. The most important part of Candace's video was the revelation that there was no security plan for Charlie's event the day after he passed away. Harpole knew it didn't need to be done. That is the speculation that we're all coming to, right? I mean, how do you not come to that conclusion? It's very weird. And I think it needs to be looked into deeper. In fact, somebody actually said this to me, and I want to see, and if you guys could help, that would be great. This person, I'm trying not to name them. That's why I screenshotted their conversation from Instagram. Listening to your newest episode on YouTube, you said you wonder when they had the memorial planned. They had a lot of big Christian artists play at the memorial. Phil Wickman, Hillsong, Brandon Lake, etc. Wouldn't it be interesting to reach out to one of them or all of them to see when they were slated to perform at that event? Did they know it was going to be a memorial? And that's a very interesting question. Did they know that was going to be a memorial? When were they asked to do it? Because like I was saying in the last episode, I'm like, that would take a little bit of time to put together, I would think. You know, I guess you could throw money at anything and just make it happen, but the way it was so big and so, like, it was, how do you get that? How do you even get that venue that quickly? I guess if you're like some of the most powerful people in the world, you can just do it, but I don't know. It's still a question to be asked. And yeah, it would be good to know when they actually got called up for it. You know, it's kind of the same thing like when everything got paved over at UVU. You know, at first they're like, oh no, this was already in the works. Then people like Nikki, she did some great work, and she figured out that no, it wasn't actually. And actually it was a very rushed job. And they didn't they had to rush to get it done within like 2 days. Out of nowhere. It wasn't slated to be done. It wasn't scheduled to be done at all. So it's kind of the same type of thing. Maybe, because we haven't asked any of these guys yet, but definitely want to reach out to some of them. Who else comes over to coach for a debrief after watching Candace? Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. I like doing the breakdowns. It's really, really fun. Someone else said, Brian Harpole, the man, the mint, the legend. Oh, I was hoping somebody caught that joke when I said that. Shout out to you, Nurse CJ. Shout out to you. Then somebody else said, Missy said, I 100% believe Charlie was betrayed. I think we all do in some way, shape, or form. Whether it was betrayed by incompetence or betrayed by sheer viciousness. Either way, it's terrible. Citron 14 says, it was nuts. I could hardly keep my mints in my mouth. Oh, that was me imitating Brian Harpole. Oh man, it was just crazy. I could hardly keep my mints in my mouth. I mean, I was just jittering all over the place. That's why there was candy all over the SUV. Brian Harpole's reaching in his pocket. Like, do you have a trauma kit? He's like, I got all these mints. I got these mints. Charlie, take a mint. Come on, man. What was he doing? I would love to know what they were doing in that car, man. Love to know. Your Brian Harpole impression is absolutely hilarious. Thank you very much, Sista Kimmy. Billy Petrovis. The event was needs to be investigated. That event that didn't have security the day after Charlie passed needs to be investigated. No security was planned, ? And then somebody says here, when my best friend passed away, we were in a car accident together. I watched him pass. I lost it. Had to be put in a facility. He came to see me in my dreams for a long time. We would just sit and talk. Everyone else said I was crazy, but no one will ever make me believe otherwise. So I absolutely believe Candace when she says that. Yeah, I honestly think, you know, as you again, what are those people? Hospice nurse. That's what it's called. I didn't know what it was called before. I interviewed this hospice nurse. It's on the channel. I have a playlist called Interviews, and she talks about, she's seen like 1,000 people off into the afterlife, and the things that they do, they reach up, they see things, they see people, they have conversations with people that aren't there, they see things that no one else can see. They all reach up like this before they pass away. It's just all of that stuff together. It just makes me go, there's no way that this is all just what we think it is. You know, there has to be some of this. You know, she told one story about her own father, that she was looking at hats. Her father had all these hats that were hung up. And as she was looking at the hats at his house, he was in the hospital, and he actually said out loud, I'm going to hang it up now. And he was talking about his hat. I'm going to hang my hat up now. And he passed. And they were doing that at the same time. And there's so many instances of that. There's so many weird coincidences that happen when someone passes away. And it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I believe it. I believe that if somebody was betrayed on a massive level, like people speculate and think Charlie was betrayed at, I think there's something in you. I don't think we're just meat. I think we're souls. The soul's internal. I think we go elsewhere after we pass. But I think if you're betrayed on that level and you knew it the whole time that you were going to pass away young, that you would go to the only person who would fight for you, the person who you said you thought you were sent back in time, you're a time traveler and you had to meet them. They're the missing piece God wanted you to find. They're the one that you think is the chosen one. They're your David. I think you would go to that person through your spirit. You would have your spirit, your soul, that part of you that we can't see, that's eternal and strong and powerful. You would go to that person in a dream and you would say, I was betrayed. And you'd make it so vivid. You'd make it so real, just like Candace talks about, that they would never let it go. 100% you would do that. 100%. And there's too many circumstances of people when a loved one passes, of things like that happening, of them coming around. Because you would. Imagine you have this ethereal body, which is your soul, your spirit, and you get knocked out of this meat body. And it's like real abrupt, and it wasn't supposed to happen, and it was betrayal. You might just be like, you ever seen the movie Ghost? You might just be like, what happened? And what's the first thing you would do? Well, if you were betrayed, you might go to Candace in a dream, or maybe you do that after. But if you could, you'd go check on your family. You'd be like, I have to see them before I go. I have to see how they're doing. You know, I have to leave them a piece of me before I leave. Yeah. So anyway, shout out to you, Nicola Hill, for saying that. Thank you for sharing that, man. Stace Lee Young says, my heart goes out to Candace. You can see and feel her heartache over the loss of her friend, but you can also see the anger and disgust behind the pain for the people involved in his untimely passing. Thank you, Coach Colin, for being a true advocate for CK and CO, Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens, and all of us. Well, shout out to you. Thank you for watching. Someone else says, I thought it was weird. And of course, I'm going to be an advocate for this whole thing. Again, I don't even know her. I don't know her, and I didn't know him. And you can see when I first stopped doing Rogan content and I started doing this content, I was crying a lot. It hit really hard. I didn't even release the first episode I made because it was just too hard. It was like as it was happening, like as I was seeing it, and I was like, it was way too much. And I don't know why it hit me so hard. I have no idea. Like I say, it's because he's a father. I'm a father. Our kids are like pretty much the same age. We have the same type of life, I was going to say, but my wife's not like Erica. Thank God a little bit. No shade, but thank God. You can say it's because of that, but I don't know. And then when I saw what Candace was doing, I was like, oh, you have to really like I was already doing my little investigative part, like looking at the material and the timelines and everything, trying to connect dots there. But it's like, of course you have to be an advocate for what she's doing. Of course you have to allow her to do what she's doing and not attack her and give her ultimatums and things like that. You have to. She's doing something very God sent, in my opinion. That's what I think. So of course I'm going to stand by that. Just like I was standing by Rogan back in the day when he was having doctors on and nobody wanted him to have these doctors on. And I was like, of course, like, why wouldn't he? This is what he does. Someone else said, I always thought it was weird that during the interview on Sean Ryan, that Brian Harpole never once expressed any feelings of guilt that his client passed on his watch or takes any responsibility for his own failures or mistakes, like a normal person would. I also find it odd how he over-explained in a lot of his answers. That usually occurs when someone is nervous and or lying, maybe, allegedly, perhaps. Police look for this specific behavior during interrogations. Very interesting. And yeah, why didn't he? I mean, that's the one thing that you figured you'd do. And again, yeah, just like this guy said, just like Mari Belmar. Oh, Mara Belmar. Just like she said, 100%. Why wouldn't you take any responsibility? I thought the conversation would start with that. Like, first off, someone passed away. When that happens on our watch, it's our fault. We take full responsibility. You know, I don't know. You figure that's what he would say, but he never does. He never takes any piece of blame throughout the entire thing. He could have messaged and said, hey, you said you got me covered. Do you mean that you have the roof covered? If so, which roof? And also, if so, can one of my guys be with you to just check it all out? Because, you know, we communicate. Can I have that happen? He said that's not his fault. Somebody said I got you covered. Charlie passing away, it's not his fault. Nothing was his fault. A full Sean Ryan and Gary interview, 5 hours of him talking, at least. Nothing was his fault. It was ridiculous. Anyway, I've been running too long. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. We're going to talk about Liberty University a little bit. I'm going to try and hash out an episode right now, actually. Anyways, thank you for coming out. Have a great rest of the day. I will see you tomorrow. I'm out of here.